It's summertime, it's super nice out. Why in the world do we still have this thing on? In addition to being heavy, the biggest reason why most people don't remove their hardtop is because they're big and they're bulky. And even if you could manage to take it off by yourself, it'd be really awkward to handle. And then there's the question of, where would you put it? If you're lucky enough to live in a home with a garage and one that's big enough for your Jeep to fit inside of it, your best bet's going to be to hang that hardtop from the ceiling. Unfortunately, a lot of the hardtop hoist systems out there are pretty pricey. So what are you going to do when all you've got to work with is this? Hey Tessa, you want to go to the hardware store? You want to go to Lowe's? Let's go find out. If you don't already have a set, you'll need something like this, about 15 bucks. Finally, we're going to need a piece of 2x4 just like this. $3.40. So what do we find out? That for about 25 bucks, we could get a 2x4, some screw eyes, and some straps, pretty much everything that we need to hang our hardtop in our own garage and on a budget. For better or for worse, the previous owner of our house never bothered to finish the walls or ceiling in our garage, but to our benefit, that made it a lot easier for us to identify exactly where all the ceiling joists are. Now, if you're not so lucky, you're going to need something like this, and this is a stud finder. As you can see, the stud finder will help you to identify exactly where the studs are behind the drywall. Okay, so the width of the JL hardtop is about 64 inches. And because our ceiling joists are 24 inches on center, we're going to need to locate our screw eyes at about 72 inches apart. We need it to be wider than the hardtop itself so that the hardtop can actually hang from it. Pencil, ruler. Marking our point for where we're going to be drilling a hole so that we can install our screw eye into the ceiling joist. So these are our screw eyes that we're going to be attaching our hangers to. So what we're going to want is to find a drill bit that's slightly smaller than it so that we can create a pilot hole. That ought to do it. Alright, we got our safety glasses. We're going to grab our screw eye, a screwdriver, and a drill, and we're going to start getting this thing in. Alright, so now we're going to have to figure out how much further we need to make the front ones. Hardtop measures approximately 40 inches to the crux of this part of the hardtop for a 4-door. So we're going to locate our holes approximately 40 inches as well. Alright, so now we can go ahead and grab our 2x4, measure it out to be cut down. Again, the hardtop measures approximately 64 inches. We located our holes up on the ceiling at 72, so that's where I'm going to set this as well. 72 inches. Grab my square. I didn't buy enough screw eyes. Alright, so we can go ahead now and install our screw eyes into our 2x4. And to do that, we're going to locate our hole about 1 inch in. It doesn't have to be exact. Okay. So we already had a whole bunch of these tie-down straps in our garage, so I didn't have to buy any over at the hardware store. And these are what we're going to use to hang our hardtop. Okay, so now we can go ahead and hang our 2x4, which will hold the back end of our hardtop. All right, now we can start working on taking the hardtop off. Okay, we're obviously going to need to back up our Jeep a little bit more to take off the hardtop, but first we're going to go ahead and take off the Freedom Top panels and remove all the bolts. So using a Torx T50 bit, we're going to go ahead and remove the 6 bolts that are securing the hardtop to the body, and then there are 2 more located up front. Okay, now that we've got all the bolts out, before we can remove the hardtop, there is still a wiring harness that needs to come undone, and the washer hose needs to be unplugged as well. So to do that, we need to pull down this red tab, squeeze on it, pull it straight down, and then right here there's this silver button. You push on it, pull it straight out as well. And if you can believe it, there's actually a little storage connector right here where we can place both of these items. Oh, it's a little short. See where that is right there? The hose is supposed to connect in it, but it's a little short. Oh well. Might have been easier with an extra set of hands, but you can clearly see it can be done totally by yourself. Got zip ties through the hole. We're just going to do this to secure it in place for long-term storage because I don't anticipate putting on the hardtop again anytime soon. We don't want it to accidentally fall off the 2x4, so there we go. Hardtop is hung. As you can see, we can totally park underneath it as well. So what am I going to do with these guys? Oh yeah, Jeep provided us with a place to store them all. Roof. Voila, we're good to go.